Have you ever been in that room? You know, one of those like high-pressure conference rooms with the glass walls where you feel like you're an official?
Or even just a Zoom call, right, where you're just staring at your own face.
Exactly. And everyone is speaking English. And the thing is, you know English. You studied it. But suddenly the pressure is just on.
The heart starts beating a little faster.
Yeah. And you have this idea, a really good idea, but you're terrified. You're terrified that if you open your mouth, the verb tense will be wrong or you'll use the wrong preposition.
Yeah.
So you say nothing.
You just nod.
You just nod.
Yeah.
That is such a universal feeling. And it's not really about proficiency, is it? It's performance anxiety.
It is. It's that specific panic of performing in a second language when the stakes feel incredibly high. You know, your job, your reputation, it's like you feel competent in your own language, but in English you suddenly feel small.
You feel like a child.
Yeah.
Like you can't show who you really are.
Precisely. And that gap, the gap between who you are and what you can say, that's where all the anxiety lives.
So today we're doing something a little different. We're not looking at some advanced grammar textbook. We're doing a deep dive into a really specific stack of resources, guides, lists, strategies, all dedicated to fixing this one problem.
And these are technically for A1, A2 learners, so beginners. But the philosophy is what's so fascinating. It's all about easy methods to use English at work.
Right. And what's interesting is how it goes against everything you usually hear about business English.
Totally. Usually it's all about, leveraging synergies and circling back.
Ugh, yes. Sounding like a LinkedIn post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this stack says, no, do the opposite. The mission is to give you a toolkit for simple English. And the argument isn't just that it's easier for you. The argument is that it's actually better for business.
Okay, that's a big claim. So the goal isn't to sound like some CEO from a movie.
Not at all. In fact, what we're looking at today argues that trying to sound like a professor is the actual problem. The mission is just to help you feel confident, clear, and calm.
I have to challenge that a little bit right off the bat. Because one thing in Source 4 really made me pause. It said that trying to be professional often makes communication worse. But in my head, professional means competent. If I speak simply, won't I just sound, I don't know, basic?
And that's the fear. Right. That is the barrier we all have. But we mix up professional with complicated. The data suggests simple English is powerful. Think about cognitive load.
Cognitive load. Okay, break that down for us.
It's just the amount of mental energy your listener has to use to understand you. If you use really complex grammar, they spend all their energy just trying to decode how you're talking, not what you're talking about.
So simple is actually smarter because it's more efficient.
It's high bandwidth communication. It cuts right through the noise. Using a $5 word when a $1 word works isn't smart. It's just showing off.
I like that. Okay, so let's get into the first big idea from our sources. This mindset shift. Clarity over perfection.
Right. So if we look at source 6, it points out this really common fear. It literally says, meetings are difficult for me.
I felt that when I read it. So raw. And it describes how people freeze up and just say yes, nothing else, even if they don't agree or understand.
It's the survival nod. We've all done it.
The survival nod. Yes. You just want the spotlight to move off you.
Which is so dangerous at work. Because if you say yes out of fear, projects get derailed. You agree to things you can't do.
So this is where method 5 from our main source comes in. And the rule is just so liberating. Clear English is better than perfect English.
It is. It just completely shifts the goal. You're not trying to get 100% on a grammar test. You're just trying to move an idea from your brain to someone else's. If they get the idea, you won.
Even if the grammar was a little messy.
Even if the grammar was messy?
But that requires feeling, safe enough to even try. I was reading the Dialogue Behavior Guide. That's source 3, and it talks a lot about emotional safety rules.
This is so critical, and honestly, team leaders need to hear this. The sources are explicit. There should be no shame and no criticism.
Yeah, and it had that one anecdote that made me laugh, where a guest says, I am very stressed. And, my internal grammar police just started screaming.
Right. The temptation is to jump in and say, no, it's stress ED.
Which just kills the conversation. It makes the person feel terrible.
Totally. But look at how the guide says to handle it. The host just says, you are very stressed. Yes, work can be stressful.
Oh, I see. They didn't stop to give a lecture. They just modeled the correct word and kept the conversation flowing.
Exactly. It shows that mistakes are normal. The communication still happened. The message was received. That's emotional safety.
So the takeaway is really, it's okay to make mistakes.
It's more than okay. Sometimes admitting I am stressed makes you more human. But, okay, mindset is one thing. You still need some tools, right? You need a toolkit.
Right. Which brings us to segment 2, the Simple English Toolkit. We've got this pronunciation optimization source, source 5, and its goal is super simple. Make speech easy to say and easy to hear.
And this is where we get the bad versus good list. And I want to be clear, bad doesn't mean it's incorrect English. It just means it's inefficient. It's English that's going to trip you up.
Okay, hit me with some examples, because I think a lot of us use the bad list all the time.
For sure. So a classic one. Instead of communicate effectively, which is a mouthful, the source says just say talk clearly.
Talk clearly? Wow, that is so much better. It's stronger, too.
Here's another. Instead of professional environment, what do you think it suggests?
Just workplace.
Just workplace. 2 syllables versus 8. Every extra syllable is another chance to stumble. The strategy is literally about making it easier for your mouth to form the words.
The source also had a really good point about verbs. I feel like we get obsessed with phrasal verbs. Circle back, touch base, reach out.
They're a nightmare for learners. They're totally illogical. Why does run past mean to ask for an opinion? It makes no sense.
It really doesn't when you put it like that.
And source 5 is super strict here. It says avoid them. Stick to the common verbs list. And the list is just go, do, make, send, check, ask, help.
That's it. That feels way too simple. Can you really run a meeting with just those 7 verbs?
You can run a whole company with them. Instead of saying, I will endeavor to facilitate a resolution, you just say, I will help fix this. Which one sounds more confident?
I will help fix this. It sounds like you're actually going to do something.
Exactly. Simple verbs mean action. And speaking of simple, let's talk about the 12-word rule from that same source.
Yes. Maximum 12 words per sentence. I love this. It stops you from getting lost in your own sentence.
We've all been there. You start a sentence, add a clause, and then you just trail off.
And everyone stares at you.
The 12-word rule prevents that. But more importantly, it forces you to pause.
Pauses are scary, though, right? I feel like if I pause, I look like I've forgotten what I was going to say.
That's the misconception. We rush because we fear silence. But when you use short sentences, subject, verb, object, period, you actually sound more confident, more in control.
So instead of that long, rambling sentence about needing help with a report,
you just say, please help me with the report. I am late. I need to check the data.
Boom. Clear. Powerful.
No one is confused about what you need.
Okay, we have the mindset. We have the toolkit. Let's talk about the battlefield, meetings. This is our segment 3, tactical survival.
Battlefield is a good word for it, but source 4 gives us method 6 to disarm it, which is prepare before meetings.
But everyone prepares, don't they? I mean, I read the agenda. What's different?
It's more specific. It's
right.
Write 3 simple sentences before you have to speak. Just 3.
I love that. It takes away all the pressure of thinking on the spot. So if I have to give an update, I can just write, I finished the report, I sent it to the client, I am waiting for an answer. Done.
Precisely. You're not improvising, you're reciting your own script. Your anxiety level drops to basically 0.
But what happens when you get stuck? Someone asks a question you didn't prepare for. That's the real panic moment.
That is the danger zone. And that's why method 2 is prepare simple phrases. These are your safety net.
Yes, the magic phrases. I have them right here. The first one is just, can you repeat, please?
Never be afraid to use that. It just means you want to be precise.
The second one, I need more time.
That just buys you a few seconds to think. It's a lifesaver.
And my favorite, let me check.
Let me check is the ultimate professional move. It stops the pressure instantly. You don't have to know everything right now.
It's so true. I don't know. Sounds weak, but let me check. Sounds like you're taking action.
It implies competence. It tells your boss, I'm on it.
Okay, and in these meetings, there are all these business words flying around. Source 2 gave a vocabulary deep dive that I think is really helpful. It just simplifies everything.
Let's do it. We build these words up in our heads to be more complicated than they are.
Okay, first one,
deadline.
The definition is just the last day to finish something. That's it. It's just the finish line.
Next up, client.
A person or a company you work for. Simple as that.
Schedule.
A plan of time. I love that. It makes it feel like a map, something you can manage.
And the really scary one, presentation.
We imagine a huge stage, a spotlight.
A TED Talk, yeah.
But the definition here is just, when you speak in front of people, that's all it is. Speaking to 2 colleagues, that's a presentation.
Hearing them defined like that? it just sort of takes their power away.
It does, and that
Yeah.
connects to method 4, which is to listen more. If you're so busy panicking about what you're going to say next, you're not actually listening.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm building my perfect sentence in my head, and I completely miss what the other person said. We all do. But if you trust your prepared sentences and your safety phrases, you can free up your brain to actually listen and be present.
That's such a good point. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to emails and daily tasks. Segment 4.
Right, the written word. Sometimes easier, sometimes harder, because you can stare at a blank page forever trying to get it perfect.
And again, source 2 gives us these beautifully simple definitions. Email, a message you send on the computer. Project, a task you work on for some time.
And we can apply method 1 from source 4 here, which is about short sentences. The example they give of a perfect work email is just, I will send the email today.
It's so short, it almost feels rude, doesn't it? Shouldn't I add, I hope this email finds you well and all that?
No, that's just noise. I will send the email today is clear. It respects the other person's time.
So brevity is actually politeness in this context.
In a business context, absolutely. One idea per sentence. If you look at your email and you have 3 lines of text with no period, you're in trouble.
I will send the email today. Here's the file. Thanks.
Perfect. It's confident. And it's almost impossible to make a grammar mistake in a 5-word sentence.
That is very true. I also noticed the tone in the examples. Under the definition of boss, the example sentence is, my boss is very kind.
I noticed that too. It reinforces that friendly, relaxed tone. The idea is that work doesn't have to be this scary, formal place.
That brings us really to the final segment, segment 5. Overcoming the fear of mistakes. Because, let's be honest, you're still going to mess up.
It's inevitable. And source 3, the dialogue guide, has this amazing rule. It says, for the listener, never correct in a strict way. But for the speaker, it says, make small mistakes. For humor.
Wait, make mistakes on purpose.
Well, maybe not on purpose, but don't hide them when they happen. Use them. There's a psychological thing called the pratfall effect. It says that if you're seen as competent, making a small mistake actually makes people like you more.
It makes you seem more human. It breaks the ice.
Exactly. If you say something a little silly, just laugh at yourself. It shows confidence. It shows you're not terrified of being imperfect.
It also says, share small personal stories.
Right. It just relaxes everyone. If you're tense, the whole room is tense. A little humor changes everything.
The stack also provides these encouragement lines. I really like them. I feel like we should just read them because they feel like mantras.
I agree. Let's do it. The first one is, you can do it.
Practice helps a lot.
Small steps are great.
And this one? English at work can be simple.
That's the one. That's the whole message. It can be simple. We're the ones who make it so hard on ourselves.
So if we're wrapping this all up, looking at this whole stack, what's the core takeaway?
I think the big picture is that communication is about connection, not inspection. You're not in school anymore. No one is grading you.
Connection, not inspection. I love that.
Yeah. The summary is just that simple English is enough. You don't need academic, complicated words. You just need to be understood.
And I'm thinking of that definition practice from source 2. It was, do something again to get better. Not to be perfect, just
Right.
to get better.
Exactly. Small progress is still progress.
I want to leave our listeners with this one final thought. It's from the notes in source 6. It describes a person who was terrified of meetings, but then they realized this simple English approach was enough. And they said, my heart is calm now.
That's the whole goal, isn't it? A calm heart. That's when you can do your best work.
So here's the challenge to you listening. The next time you're at work and you feel that panic start to rise, just try one thing, just one simple phrase. Maybe it's, can you repeat please? Or let me check. See how it feels. See if it calms your heart, even just a little bit.
And remember, short sentences are your friend.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep it simple, and we'll see you next time.